The 2023 Hyundai Palisade is for people that think big. And if you're in the market for an SUV of this scale, you'll have some big questions. Will it fit my big family and all the big stuff that goes with it? How big will the fuel bills be? And how big is the price tag? Is it set up to handle the big Aussie road trip? Or the big trek to weekend sport? Or push on for a big grocery shop at the supermarket afterwards? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions and more. So stick with me, it's going to be big. This 3-row up to 8-seat flagship SUV boasts refreshed design outside and in, new tech, improved safety, and the previous entry-level grade has been deleted, with prices now starting from just under $66,000 before on-road costs. There are now only 2 grades, but like the previous model, 2 engine choices. We'll get to the details shortly, but for now just think petrol means front-wheel drive, diesel means all-wheel drive.
The Elite grade kicks things off and retains features like 12-speaker Infinity audio, active cruise, leather-appointed seats, dual-zone climate, a 10-way power-adjustable driver's seat, LED headlights, DRLs, taillights and fog lights, and a hands-free power tailgate. Headline additions are a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, 12.3-inch HD multimedia screen, a glass sunroof, remote start and smart parking assist, as well as the BlueLink connected service. BlueLink is a first for Hyundai in Australia and features things like a valet mode, back-to-base collision notification, an SOS function, voice control, weather advice, and more. Step up to the Highlander and things like Napa leather-appointed seats, ventilated first and second row seats, rain-sensing wipers, and an 8-way power-adjustable front passenger seat will be familiar to current owners. Additions in this refresh include a 3D surround view function, remote start, wing-type headrests on the outer positions on the second row, and a digital interior mirror. For 8-seat SUV capacity, you're looking at heavyweight competitors like the Toyota LandCruiser 300 and Nissan Patrol, which the Palisade undercuts by a significant margin, without giving too much away in terms of equipment. So fair play on value for money there. But more direct competitors are the Toyota Kluger and Mazda CX-9, as well as Nissan's new Pathfinder arriving late in 2022, kicking off from around $54,000 with a petrol V6, 2 and all-wheel drive, and offering 8 seats in all grades.
It feels like the Palisade's been on sale for 5 minutes, but closing in on 2 years is the reality, and it's been on sale in other markets since 2018, so a design refresh is timely. You'd never guess this car is an important one for Hyundai in the USA. It's a big canvas to be working with, and the already prominent grille has been squared off. The LED headlights are stacked vertically at the edge, and these indicators are hidden behind a tinted cover, which is a pretty neat touch.
For car spotters, the Palisade Elite's grille is tinted predominantly black, while the Highlander's has bright accents, and the Highlander features satin chrome door handles and rocker sill panels. The 20-inch alloy wheels are the same size but new design on both models. And at the back, the full-width high-mount stoplight is upgraded to LED, the taillights are revised, and the exhaust outlets have been squared off.
There are design changes inside too. For example, this centre air vent is wider and has been integrated into this horizontal strip. The steering wheel has 4 spokes now and has been redesigned. There's also an HD 12.3-inch multimedia screen and a 12.3-inch configurable digital instrument screen as well.
The overall look is distinctively assertive outside and that little bit sleeker inside. Does large scale automatically deliver big practicality? Well, in this case, the answer is yes. Big doors and heaps of interior space combined with thoughtful storage options to deliver family-friendly practicality.
When it comes to storage up front, there's plenty. Let's kick it off with the glove box. It's definitely a decent size. Then you come to this console. It's like a two-tiered arrangement. It's like a flying buttress up here and a lower shelf with USB-C and 12-volt power down below. You come up to a storage box with a lid up here, and in fact there's a little tunnel connecting the two of them, so you can keep all your cables neat and under control. There's another box here, lidded, which doubles as an armrest between the front seats, and there's 12-volt power and USB-C in there as well. So then you get to the doors, and there are big bins and a space sculpted out of it for bottles. And in this center console is a size adjustable cup holder, pair of them. Here we are in the back. And when it comes to storage, again, there's any amount of it. So for a start, there are your standard kind of map pockets on the front seat backs, but there's an extra little netted pocket that is just smartphone size, which is a really nice touch. You've got vents in the ceiling up here, but individual control at the back of the console here, which is part of that 3-zone climate control. You've got 2 cup holders, different sizes, actually in the armrest, as well as a bin down below if you've got any overflow. You're also talking winged headrests. So for those familiar with plane travel, they're very much the same kind of thing, bringing cushions around your head for extra support. It's also worth mentioning that these seats slide backwards and forwards, so any turf wars between third and second row passengers can be sorted out, and this seat will recline quite a way, in fact. Then you've got, for power, a 12-volt outlet here, USB-C outlets here, and if you need even more cup holders, pull down this center armrest and you've got another 3 in there. So, endeavouring to get into the third row, we're here with a 8-seat configuration, which means 3 positions across the center row. Captain's chairs will be there in the 7-seat. However, it's press one button, all of a sudden the seat does that for you. There's a little handle here to grab onto, a step, and in you clamber. Now, I'm 183 centimetres tall, which is 6 foot in the old money, and I've got actually enough headroom to sit with reasonable comfort. Legroom's going to be a negotiation with those in the centre row, but once you're back here, there are 2 cup holders either side. There's also USB-C outlets on both sides, a vent in the ceiling. You'll get 3 kids, 3 tweens up to middle teenage in here without any drama at all. It's actually quite comfy, so there you go.
With all 3 rows upright, boot space is just over 300 litres, which is enough to be useful when you have a full house on board. Fold the 3rd row and that grows to more than 700 litres. And with the 2nd and 3rd rows down, you're nudging 2,500 litres, and that's plenty.
The load height is really manageable. There's no lip to deal with. There's a 12-volt outlet back here as well. This auto tailgate is adjustable for its speed and the height. You can set the height of it, and the good news is that under there is a full-size alloy spare. Engine choice is unchanged between a 3.8 litre naturally aspirated petrol V6 for front-wheel drive and a 2.2 litre turbo diesel 4 for all-wheel drive, and both are matched to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So as mentioned, 2 engine choices. The naturally aspirated petrol V6, you get spoiled by a turbo's low-down torque. It doesn't have that, but it does have a pretty strong mid-range, and the upside is you get this beautifully linear power delivery. Then you swap to the 2.2 litre diesel that we're in right now, and you do get that low-down urge, but keep pushing and it runs out of puff as the revs rise, which is a typical diesel trait. So you can expect 0 to 100 in the petrol car in about 8 seconds, the diesel about 10. But what that translates to is really easy cruising in both, actually. Easy overtaking, nice and safe, and yeah, effortless kind of highway character.
The 8-speed auto transmission has been upgraded for this facelifted model.
The result is pretty much seamless swaps between ratios, and you do have these wheel-mounted paddles on both models, so if you want to take control and absolutely choose the ratio you want to be in, you can. So at just under 5 metres long, yep, it's a big car, but suspension is by struts at the front and multi-links at the rear, and there's a special tricky damper has been included in the setup with an extra sliding valve to manage frequency, those high frequency actions that a shock absorber often has to go through. And I tell you what, it works because the ride comfort is really nice. Often Hyundais have been tuned locally with different components swapped out to actually fine tune it for Australian conditions. This one, not so. It's a global suspension tune, so-called, that's been done at Hyundai's R&D centre at Namyang in South Korea. But there was Aussie input right the way along, and look, despite big 20-inch rims, the ride comfort is really, really good. Also, extra insulation and different mounts for various parts of the powertrain means that the refinement is there too. There's minimal engine noise, even in the diesel, or wind noise. Things like the rear door glass has been made thicker, and it all pays off. It does feel refined on the road. In terms of ergonomics, there's actually a nice blend between on-screen controls and physical buttons. Hard to strike that balance in 2022, but I think this car gets pretty close to an optimal one. The steering, there are revised settings in the electric power steering, and while it's not the last word in road feel, it's not tragic either. You can feel the weight of the car in corners, but it remains pretty well buttoned down. And that's the front wheel drive petrol or the all-wheel drive diesel. They're composed, predictable, no dramas really. Brakes are big ventilated discs all round, which is nice, particularly given this car is rated to tow 2.2 tonnes worth of brake trailer. So your big double axle caravan is off the agenda, but a camper trailer, or if you're hooking up the tinny at the back, that's very good to know. And in general driving, the pedal is nice and progressive and stopping power is strong, so no problem on the braking front.
Under the heading of general observations, the front seats remain comfy and supportive after long periods behind the wheel. While the rear seats provide plenty of room, they are comparatively flat and firm. Parking is surprisingly straightforward for such a large vehicle, and the Highlander's 3D surround view function and digital interior mirror make life even easier. The latter frees up rear vision when passengers or cargo get in the way, but it's disconcerting initially because of limited depth of field. Hyundai's official fuel economy figure for the Palisade front-wheel drive petrol V6 on the combined cycle is 10.7 litres per 100 kilometres and 7.3 litres per 100 for the all-wheel drive 2.2 litre turbo diesel 4. Neither of those numbers set the world on fire, but it's worth remembering this is a properly big, roughly 2-tonne, 3-row SUV. Although the launch drive included a small amount of city and suburban traffic, freeway running was overrepresented, so we'll wait for a full road test to capture real-world figures. The tank holds 71 litres on both versions, which, using the quoted consumption numbers, translates to a range of about 660 kilometres for the petrol and 970 kilometres for the diesel. Safety is a tough subject when it comes to the Palisade. After more than 18 months on sale here, the superseded model has only just been assessed by ANCAP, and mainly because it scored less than 80% in the adult occupant protections test and a less than 70% safety assist examination, it was handed a 4 out of 5 star rating. But additional active and passive safety tech, including multi-anti-collision brake, which reduces the risk of additional impacts after a crash, rear brake assist, and inclusion of a front centre airbag, has redressed the balance, and this car scores 5 stars against 2022 ANCAP criteria. The floor and side structure have also been reinforced. For all the details on the Palisade safety equipment, and existing features that have been upgraded, there are lots. Check out my written review on the site. Hyundai covers the Palisade with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is standard in the mainstream market now. 12 months roadside assistance is provided, which is renewed for another year every time you service your vehicle at an authorised Hyundai dealer, up to a maximum 10 years. Service is recommended every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, and prepaid cap price servicing is available across various agreed time and distance combinations.
This upgraded Palisade has the refinement, practicality and value to stand up as a quality option for those seeking big family SUV accommodation. It's nicely put together, safety's top shelf, and it certainly stands out from the crowd. Be nice to see a hybrid powertrain because the V6 petrol in particular likes a drink. But given the new Santa Fe is arriving with hybrid power later this year, maybe that'll come in time. Kuncha!